I'm that guy. Been here for a long time. And I'm the guy, and I'll tell you the story. This building that we sit in here is the one that I said couldn't happen. So we're sitting in, you'd have to see the pictures, you'd had to have been here. So we had our church in the schoolroom when me and my wife started coming here on a regular basis. We'd been here before, but when we joined, started coming, we were meeting in the schoolroom. And the schoolroom faced the other direction. You guys got to get the stories from some of the people. And behind that were classrooms about the size of the classrooms here, maybe a little smaller, similar to what's over there now. So the deacons, I wasn't even a deacon at this time. The deacons are sitting in a meeting, and they're discussing. Brother Jim was there, and the deacons, and I got included in this because we were looking at making me a deacon and all the things that went with it. And these guys, Brother Terry, Brother John Pullen, I'm trying to think of who else. Brother Charlie, Brother Terry Brewer, and Pastor Doug had been talking about putting a building together. We were literally packed out into the hallway. Me and Carrie sat on the one side in the back of the hallway, about 5 rows back in chairs, and watched the service from there. So we go into this meeting, they're in the meeting, and they've got all these great ideas. And finally it came to the point where we didn't have a slide because we couldn't afford one. That someone said, this is going to cost $1 million. And I believe my exact words were, you all are crazy. Now, I'm the youngest guy in the room. And I'm looking at this going, that's just stupid. I'm looking at our budget. We haven't had a budget of over $200,000 our entire existence, and you want to spend $1 million. I actually said, let's just tear down some walls, push things back. I mean, I'm pitching this. Fast forward to today, where we're sitting in $1 million building that God has blessed us with an average, on an average Sunday, just an average Sunday, there's 385 souls on campus. Where on a slightly above average Sunday, a lady pulls into the parking lot, drives around and can't find a parking spot and leaves. That happened. That's on just a slightly above average Sunday. So I'll be honest, when he started talking, when Pastor started talking, how many did you notice that one person, it was an infant, got up, left screaming? That was your one shot to do that. So let's be honest for a minute. We're going to talk about doubts, but let's be honest and look at that screen, because the first time I saw it, I said, you're crazy. That's not done. That's not complete. That's not stage 3. That's not the summit. That's not paid for. We're going to spend $3 million and we're not going to be done. We're going to need another $1.5 million. You know what? I agree with what Pastor said. The one thing he said today that I'm confident of, we can't do that. There's no possible way. You know what I've come to the conclusion of? And talk about the prayer meeting we had out back. One of the things I've come to the conclusion of is that I'm right. We can't do that. But you know what I am 1,000% confident of? God can. He put us here. He put us in this building when we couldn't do it. It physically, and Greg would have had a heart attack. I mean, his mind would have went boom and gone. It did not work. And listen, for those of you that are looking at this number and going, that doesn't, $22,000 a month payment. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. But God has met our needs every single time. Every time, Gill has been the one guy in the room going, you guys are crazy, because it happens actually pretty often. I have to take the other side just because the Lord has shown us over and over and over again how He is able and how He can do it. Now listen, we have Brother Greg, and he makes us be financially correct. You got that from Brother Jim. We have guys that do that. We've got Brother Todd, who's going to, scrape every nickel and hold every guy's feet to the fire. We have the burden of lost souls and kids that need to have a place to come to hear the gospel because they're not getting it in school. We have Brother Dave, who sets the example of he's here because someone was stewarding. And then we have me, who says it isn't possible, but yet here we are. So listen, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. The Bible says, this to me fits this situation in most. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. And then he says, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Because I'm telling you, I look at that number and I go, I know, Greg can make the math work, all right? We're not leaping out completely without good stewardship and with good ability. But I look at that number and I go, that's just crazy. He goes on to say, be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil, and it shall be health to thy navel and marrow to the bones. Honor the Lord. Now, he goes on to say, honor the Lord with thy substance. So listen, I am the guy. I'm the guy that would make you pull that back up and look at it and go, you had your chance to go screaming from the room. And I get it. I do. Because in and of ourselves, I'll be honest, I don't think we can do this. But the beauty of what God has done at Emmanuel over the last 20-some years is that there isn't much of what we've done that we could do. There just isn't, I can't think of anything that we could have by our own, we can make this happen. God has done it every step of the way. So our prayer at that meeting back there, my prayer at that meeting back there, I'll give you a little insight, was, Lord, make this work in such a way that the world has to look at it and go, how did that happen? And then we can say, God did it. That He did it. Because we can't. We couldn't. We can't pull this off, but we serve a God who can.